And today is a bit more thoughtful rather than anything funny. And I want to talk about the camera I've been using for the last 4 or 5 years before recently upgrading my camera. And it's a bridge camera called the Panasonic FZ 1000. And I believe this is a pretty good camera, and it's what's classified as a bridge camera. So that is, it's not a compact camera, but it's not an interchangeable lens camera either. And so it has some facilities of both of those joined together. So like a compact camera, it only has the one lens on it, so it's not interchangeable. But unlike a compact camera, it does have the settings on your controls to be able to control the aperture, the ISO and the shutter speed of your camera. And I want to give you a couple of reasons why it's a good thing maybe to buy a bridge camera before going into a full-on system, interchangeable lens system, which can cost you a lot of money, not particularly for the camera, although that can cost a lot of money as well, but for the lenses as well. And so the first reason is that it will give you experience before you make the jump. So if you're just going from a simple point and shoot camera, you're beginning to get a bit of a passion for photography, but you're not ready to go all out and spend a whole stack of money on your camera and on your lenses. This is a good start because you can get a feeling for photography. You can advance in your skills with the aperture and shutter speed and ISO and playing around with those settings and getting to understand how they work. But at the same time, you have the convenience of just the one lens that you don't have to carry around extra lenses. So it has the best of both worlds. So that's why it's called a bridge camera, that it has some features from the compact sort of camera, and it has additional features that you'll find in an interchangeable lens camera. So why the Panasonic FZ 1000? Well, I bought it originally after being recommended to buy it by somebody, a photographer. My wife and I did a photography afternoon with a professional photographer in Australia, and this is one of the cameras that he suggested that I buy when I explained the type of photography that I was doing. I actually bought the course for my wife and a session for my wife, and I went along, and since then I've gotten the photography bug. So this is a Panasonic FZ 1000, and I'll give you a couple of reasons why this camera is a good one to buy. The first is reliability. I've had this camera for about four or 5 years now, and I haven't had one issue with it. Or if there are any issues with it, it's my fault for having the wrong settings, or maybe not having my second battery charged, and so on. Hasn't missed a beat, this camera. I haven't had to send it back, and I've used it a fair bit. I've taken thousands and thousands of photos, including a lot of sports photography, particularly basketball, and also some general sort of life shots, and some school debs, and a variety of other things. And so all of that time, this has been a really reliable camera. The second reason is that it has a fairly large sensor. So it's a one inch sensor, which is getting close up to the 4/3 sensor, but it's obviously a lot smaller than a full frame or a medium format camera. But the sensor in it is quite big. It's a lot bigger than normal compact cameras, and the light that you get and the quality of the photo is really good. Another reason is because of the lens, and so this lens has a range of 25 to 400, and it has an aperture of 2.8 to 4, which makes it a reasonable fast lens. And it's also a Leica lens as well, and you know, Leica, besides having a reputation for being really expensive, they do have a reputation for producing high quality stuff, and Leica and Panasonic have been in partnership for a while now. And so the lens is particularly good. It can cover short photos in terms of distance, up to longer photos. The only thing where it's probably going to really let you down is if you want to take, a really close-up photo of an ant or a bug, or if you're into bird photography and you see a bird a couple of 100 metres away, it's not going to be that big and you're going to have to crop the photo quite a bit. So besides those two extremes, for most stuff, this lens is all that you will probably need. And so the lens is high quality, it's got a good focal range, and covers most of your needs. The camera's also got a reasonable autofocus. I know Panasonic have worked hard at their autofocus in recent years, and this is a reasonable autofocus. It's probably not the best autofocus system going around, but it's certainly reasonable and will cover most of your needs. Another thing is that it has a flippy screen, and flippy screen is in demand, particularly for vloggers, videographers, but also can be really helpful for photographers as well. So if you're videoing yourself, you can put the camera on a tripod, face it to you, turn it around, and you can see what's going on in front of you, what you look like, if you're smiling enough, and so forth. The other good thing about a screen for a photographer is, like I found it helpful a number of times after a sports team wins a game. So rather than just going up and taking a photo and getting the backs of their heads and their backs, what you can do is lift it up high, like so, and then look at the screen, and then you can actually take some photos of the faces, of the smiles, of their celebrations. And also, you can also go down low with it as well and point the camera up to give you a different angle rather than just shooting straight all the time. You can go down low without actually getting down on your stomach to shoot the camera, to take some photos. Price-wise is another reason you should buy this camera. This is Mark 1, and it buy it second hand for about $500 or $600 Australian. Brand new, you can get it for about $850, not $850,000. And there's also a Mark II version which came out earlier this year. I haven't really looked at that, so I'm sure it's got all of the features of this one, probably, plus some new ones. And that's going for about $1,300. So if you want to jump into a upgrade from your compact camera, then you can spend $500 or $600 on the second-hand one. And the great thing is you get to play around with the light triangle, with the aperture, with the ISO, and with the shutter speed. And you can decide if you get a passion for it, if you want to learn more, if you want to keep going for it, you want to become an enthusiast, a hobby, then you can upgrade to an interchangeable lens camera with higher features and so forth. I used this for about 4 or 5 years, and I would have upgraded a bit earlier had I had the resources to do it. But I've recently purchased a G9 camera, the Panasonic G9, because I like the feel of the Panasonic cameras. It actually feels like you're holding a camera. It's not a plasticky sort of feel. But this is going to be my backup camera. I'm going to have that around my neck. A lot of the times I have my G9 around the neck, simply because having the simple feature to change the lens length straight away is a good one for me if I've got a set focal lens on my G9. So that's it. I actually think this is the best bridge camera I've ever used. I'll go so far as to say that, and I can say that because I think it's probably the only bridge camera I have ever used. But seriously, it's a great camera, and you're getting into photography. This is a great way to go. Before you decide what system you want to buy longer term, if you continue the passion, you want to go full frame, a crop camera, micro four thirds, and because once you buy the camera, your next camera, an interchangeable lens camera, It's a camera that costs a bit of money, but what really costs you money is the type of lenses that you buy. So anyway, hope you found this helpful, and if you're considering it, a rich camera, the FZ1000 is a great way to go. If you can get one second hand, as long as it hasn't been brutalised, they're pretty reliable, and nothing's gone wrong with mine for 4 years. I'm not being paid by Panasonic or anybody else. It's just a camera that was recommended to me when I first started my passion for it, and I've been really grateful for that recommendation, and wouldn't hesitate in recommending this camera to anybody who wants to take their photography the next step. Thank you. See you next time. Bye. To say, if you like this video and you want to see some more, please hit the subscribe button below so you can be in the know. And if you like it, give me a like, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.